Mike Lindell, his 72-hour cyber symposium is coming to a close. And of course, I wish I had the soundboard. Of course, this brings many emotions. When things end, it's hard sometimes for people to deal with them. And thus, Mike Lindell cried on stage about his symposium and made some dubious claims.
Last night when I got to the hotel, I was attacked. And Phil, here we're going to talk about where we're going today in light of this. So Colonel, go ahead.
So in addition to the red team, we started receiving credible threat warnings about 2 weeks ago. So we've had a close team. Close team is what we call somebody's working in the crowd and detecting threats.
Yeah, I guess the claim is that Mike Lindell feels he was attacked by Antifa in his hotel room.
But what was the nature of that attack? Was the actual Antifa people in his hotel room?
He's still alive, so I don't see a real scratch on him.
It's unclear because the Antifa attack was believed to be like they were prepared for an Antifa attack at the Cyber Symposium location in South Dakota, where they've been holding this 3-day tech event where they claim they were about to unveil all this data showing that the election was hacked by China and Trump is the rightful winner. This is now day 3 today. But the Antifa never showed up. I guess there's not a big Antifa headquarters in South Dakota.
I know Sioux Falls has the largest Antifa. I mean, probably some, but probably not the largest.
You don't know that.
Well, I mean, I think, it's obvious what happened here. They spent so much time focused on cybersecurity. They laxed on like in real life security. And, Antifa just walked right into his hotel room.
Well, don't you think like maybe just one of the cleaning crew, the maid that's working at the hotel knocked on his door and she saw that she was vague, maybe not white as a lily, and he lost his mind and thought it was Antifa coming for him? Or he's just super coked out, this is just a hypothesis, and is now having delusions?
I think that Antifa most likely broke into his hotel room in the middle of the night and beat him with non-MyPillow pillows, threw him a little like pillow fight party and just like wailed on him in his sleep, which is why he doesn't seem injured, but the attack was like emotional, like in spiritual nature.
Well, that's the thing is I'm worried that we're focused so much on cybersecurity, we haven't considered mental security.
Right. That's a good. I mean, I've been tuning in and out of this cyber symposium, the live stream that's been going on for the past 3 days. And it really is, you tune in at any moment. This is like a 12-hour per day event, by the way. And I would say for like 99.9% of this 12-hour per day, 3-day event, Mike Lindell is on stage talking. He refuses to give up the mic to anybody else. He just rambles on discussing how all these tech issues are really attacks. For a cyber symposium, you would assume they'd have their tech game together. But even that, you mentioned, they spent too much time on the cybersecurity. I mean, they've had problems with like Zoom. They've had problems with Skype, like basic things where like that have held this live stream back like hours behind. So, and they've always said, oh, is the NSA trying to shut us down or someone's trying to stop us? So, I mean, they've got a lot going on down there.
So
if you record the board that he had, the conspiracy board, you'd know that he had a lot of enemies. So, Mike Lindell's exists at I don't know what to call it, like the center of a mass conspiracy. And so he's therefore the target of many different schools of mysteries, ABC agencies, the Illuminati's trying to bring him down, Bilderberg Group, NSA, CIA, Antifa. So, he's really having to watch his back. So like they're just coming at him from all angles. So I think it's unfair to judge just one pillow salesman on his ability to defend, every flank in this multi-layer war.
You mentioned that he has a lot of enemies. We don't know who caused the Zoom crash. We don't necessarily know, right? If one of his many people that are trying to take him down and suppress the truth cut the cord, with a little burglar mask on outside of the Sioux Falls Symposium. But Ron Watkins is just asking questions. He's just asking questions at the symposium. Do we have that, Bradley? Ron Watkins, aka the guy most likely behind Q.
Yeah, it's quite coincidental that the video feed breaks and the live streaming platforms break as soon as we start talking about this.
It's like a boot ROM or a
Pause it.
batch file.
Do you guys see that at the bottom there is a MyPillow coupon code? With all the tech issues that, who knows, it's quite coincidental, they still managed to cram the discount coupon code at the bottom of this broadcast at the very least, because, nothing says we're looking out for democracy like 66% off of MyPillow at mypillow.com.
Oh, Right Side Broadcasting. They were the main live streamers of this event. And for the past 3 days, it has been non-stop promotion of MyPillow. And they bring it up in the context, obviously, of, Mike Lindell is being attacked for, he's not a politician. He's not a public figure. He just owns a business, but he decided to make election integrity his issue for all of us. So we need to support him by buying all of his merchandise. And they've gone through, all of them are literally like the bed pillow, the bed cushions, the bathroom goods, just on and on, but all the duvet covers is one of the things they were promoting. I mean, it is just nonstop 24/7 MyPillow advertising. But the reason I think Mike Lindell sounded so defeated in that previous clip where he was attacked, it probably wasn't so much that he was like physically assaulted or anything like that. It's the fact that he's been promoting that they have the data that they're going to unveil at some point in this 3-day event. And then last night, the night of the second day, the Washington Times, which is a fairly conservative news outlet, they posted an exclusive with Mike Lindell's lead cybersecurity expert, the guy who apparently had captured all this packet data that would apparently blow the whole cover on the election being fraudulent. And he told the Washington Times last night that they can't prove China hacked the 2020 election, which again is the whole point of this 3-day symposium. I don't think Mike Lindell was ready for his own guy to go behind his back and run that exclusive somewhere.
Well, I actually tried to watch his first documentary that came out a long time ago, like right after the election or right before. I can't really remember. Called like Hard Evidence or 100% Proof or whatever it was called. And I got through like the first one and it had no evidence in it. And it amazed me that you could fill 2 hours with just like hinting that evidence would eventually come. Like when they were going to open up Al Capone's tomb with Geraldo Rivera and it just turned out to be nothing. But like he's been keeping that going for like 6 months. I will say though, whatever happened to like the woke pillow company being started by like David Hogg from the Parkland shooting
that fell apart.
That fell apart.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
David Hogg left it because I guess he realized after a while that, hey, this is this is not a good look. And he left it. And the other guy who nobody knows really, other than him being like a Twitter guy, was left to handle it. And that's sort of when nobody cared about it anymore because David Hogg was the whole draw, wasn't he? Right. I mean,
I can only imagine. But second point, and excuse me if this seems obvious, if you were really serious about like not only cybersecurity, but that the government was coming to get you and there's like a whole sort of like secret conspiracy, running your like conference over Zoom just seems like a number one mistake. Of course, Zoom is not like secure. So if you're telling me that, you think people are hacking your Zoom conference, I would say, well, no, it's probably just Zoom is bad. But if you were really serious about doing cybersecurity, you wouldn't have your conference over Zoom in the first place because obviously someone's listening to it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Symposium using the most basic publicly available programs that are clearly like the reason they're so large is because they aren't secure and disregarded some of those things.
I mean, they're probably just using the trial version of it, which is why it's like shorting out.
Okay. They don't want to pay. That's got to go back to Mike Lindell's pillow fund.
But, like that just speaks to like a larger issue I think we have, not just in the fringe conspiracy community, but just generally anyone who has like this kind of platform based on a very loosely established expertise. Like they just do these like instantly delegitimizing things like, well, use Zoom for my like infiltration of, I don't know, a Russia conspiracy or my talking about a deep state China conspiracy, where it's like if you were really close to it, you wouldn't be doing that. But they're allowed to play pretend at such high levels. It's very, very odd.
Yeah, it is like a cosplay situation, and yet like they're trying to dress up like a knight from medieval times, and they're using a paper sword or something like that, and yet all the idiots in the crowd are like, yeah, you're the expert, you're the real knight.
Well, the weird thing about this whole thing is like it's not even open to the public. It's invitation only to like cyber experts and like I don't know who else can get on the mailing list, I guess.
Right. There are a few like legit people there who like computer experts who are there to literally try, because he put up a $5 million reward for any cyber expert, he said, who can prove that his data is false. I guess the way you get around having to pay that $5 million out is by just not having any data at all. But because he still hasn't shown anything. But my favorite, because Brandon brought up his movies and how he's able to put together a 2-hour movie that says nothing. I mean, he just outdid himself with a 3-day long event that says nothing. But my favorite of the movies was the last one called Absolutely 9-0, which was a film based on his prediction that his evidence was going to be so damning that when they took it all the way to the Supreme Court would have no choice but to decide 9-0 on it, meaning Sotomayor would vote that Trump needs to be reinstalled, turn the election around. Everybody, Kagan, all the liberal justices would be like, this is so damning. Trump back in it is. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, after they did that for George, W. Bush in 2000, they haven't done that again. So, I can see why he'd think there's a precedent for it. But, there doesn't seem to be that kind. There's a, difference in the distance between Trump's loss and, HWs. But, I will just say to that point too, like I'm familiar with like the bounties that people place on like proving easily proved scientific facts. Like, anyone who engages with the flat earth community knows how many like flat earthers put up bounties to prove the earth is in fact a globe and then ignore like the infinite amounts of email proof that the earth is a globe. So, I mean, it just helps to reaffirm people's feeling of confidence that they can predict this stuff and that, they'll never be accurately disproved. But ultimately, Mike Lindell is not a cybersecurity expert. So even if you put like proof in front of his face, he couldn't understand it.
Right.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.